The city that never sleeps is once again in the headlines, and it's not for the Big Apple's usual hustle and bustle. Instead, something unusual has hit the news, one that has many New Yorkers concerned. Is it a crime wave, a scandal, or just an everyday occurrence in the city that's always in the spotlight?
Migrant hotels.
I got it for $100.
And all across town.
This is a problem.
Migrants from South America are being sold fake documents like these.
So there's gang members outside in Queens that what they're doing is they're offering for sale, of course, a green card, IDs.
See for yourself. Yes, you heard that right. Criminals are now selling fake IDs to asylum seekers. And trust me, this could cause some serious problems that we may not be able to deal with. Just recently, a sizable number of fake IDs were discovered. These included social security cards, driver's licenses, and American permanent residency cards. What makes this even more troubling is the already fragile state of the city with the surge of migrant-related crimes hitting hundreds in numbers. On top of that, border officials are warning about a criminal group from Guinea who allegedly stole blank passports and are now selling them with false information.
As the surge of migrants continues at our southern border, Border Patrol agents have been told to be on the lookout for fake passports. Some migrants from Guinea are being issued passports with falsified info, reportedly from a smuggling ring out of that country's capital.
Even though only a few people are breaking the law, it's having a big impact on safety. As the city continues to deal with this migrant crisis, many asylum seekers are feeling desperate because they can't legally work. While most migrants aim to start a better life here, some are resorting to using fake documents. Surprisingly, these migrants don't even need to go to the Department of Motor Vehicles anymore to get an ID because they're being sold on the streets. I mean, how many people would want to go through that stress?
The southern border is complex, and it's more complex than just people walking across the southern border. It's the individuals that are coming over and they aim to break the rules or have an intent to do us harm that really has law enforcement concerned right now, the FBI.
But what's not being talked about enough is the lack of a solid plan for asylum seekers once they arrive in the United States. They're left waiting for months for their paperwork to clear, unable to work legally. This situation has led to the rise of a massive underground economy controlled by criminals. We have seen this play out through the troubling trend of moped gangs snatching purses and phones while also attacking police officers in broad daylight. These crimes not only impact everyday New Yorkers, but also pose a threat to asylum seekers who find themselves caught up in this dangerous environment. But the issue goes beyond just street gangs and criminals. Recent reports reveal that Tyson Foods, a major American food company, is laying off 1,200 workers to employ a significant portion of its workforce, around 52,000 individuals who have recently immigrated to the United States seeking asylum.
All right, Mitra and Tyson laying off 1,200 workers after closing its pork factory in Perry, Iowa, only later to announce 52,000 jobs for migrants.
Advocates argue that this provides employment opportunities and keeps people away from criminal activities. However, critics raise concerns about potential exploitation of vulnerable newcomers, particularly those facing language barriers, by large corporations like Tyson Foods.
The company's excuse, migrants are getting the jobs that Americans don't want. A human resources executive for the company telling Bloomberg the migrants have been, quote, very loyal. They've been uprooted, and what they want is stability. What they want is a sense of belonging.
This has only added to the complexity of the prevalence of fake IDs, which have become a booming business, especially in cities like New York. Having a valid ID is crucial for securing employment, advancing in the workforce, and establishing financial independence. Yet many asylum seekers face challenges in obtaining proper documentation upon their arrival in the country. Upon entering the United States, some migrants discard their identification documents out of fear or necessity, further complicating their ability to navigate the system. This lack of documentation leaves them vulnerable to exploitation and could result in deportation or denial of entry if they encounter law enforcement.
Unfortunately, the easiest to come into the country with whatever you have, and they're still going to that extent to prove that they're somebody else. That's troubling.
For many individuals who have invested considerable time and resources to reach America, the prospect of encountering legal obstacles due to lack of documentation is a constant source of anxiety. The need for comprehensive support and resources to help asylum seekers integrate into society and access legitimate opportunities remains crucial in addressing these systemic challenges. Customs and Border Patrol sometimes encounter issues with paperwork, prompting some individuals to discard it. Moreover, there's a loophole allowing minors easier entry into the country, raising concerns among critics that a few exploit this generosity to assume new identities. Whether arriving with proper identification or not, many face limitations upon arrival, yet are expected to navigate numerous tasks for survival, creating opportunities for exploitation by criminals.
What's worse here as well is that the documents that they're providing aren't necessarily viable. They're using those documents after they're processed and released, and validating these documents is nearly impossible in many cases.
These criminals, ranging from gang members to fake immigration lawyers and government officials, exploit desperate migrants, creating a thriving industry of scams that also victimizes Americans. Migrants, eager for quick cash to secure employment, often fall prey to these schemes, resorting to theft to afford fake IDs. This illicit trade extends to the acquisition of social security numbers and permanent residency cards.
The qualifications to seek asylum, none of the reasons or none of the options, I don't know which one it is, but none of them sound promising or good to any of us. So we should be troubled by that.
With cities like New York already grappling with significant crime rates, the incentive for further criminal activity grows. Shoplifting, for instance, has surged, as individuals resort to theft to secure employment without implicating compliant employers. New York's lenient laws on theft provide a conducive environment for criminals operating in the lucrative business of fake identities, especially given the influx of asylum seekers. The fake ID trade extends beyond underground networks. Some migrants allegedly alter their government-issued documents with complicity from their own authorities. For instance, individuals from Guinea might adjust their age on passports, enabling entry as unaccompanied minors, highlighting the complexity and scale of identity manipulation within the immigration landscape.
We're told the migrants are changing their age in their passports so they can claim that they are unaccompanied minors, supposedly giving them a better chance of getting into the U.S.
According to recent news reports, the Guinea embassy is even going as far as advising its citizens who appear youthful to consider entering the country as minors due to a simpler process. Consequently, they are forging identities that appear genuine but lack any official recognition. Interestingly, this scheme is less complex than tactics employed by local gangs in New York City.
From Guinea may have been coached by officials within their own government to change their age on their passport so that they can enter as an unaccompanied minor, upping their chance of remaining in the U.S.
This situation raises questions about why a government would facilitate its citizens' emigration and settlement elsewhere. Additionally, it prompts speculation about whether Guinea is the sole perpetrator of such actions, or if other nations are also assisting their citizens in immigrating to the United States. One plausible explanation is that encouraging emigration could bolster the home country's economy through remittances, which are vital for citizens in economically disadvantaged nations to support themselves. However, the problem of fake IDs isn't just limited to developing countries like Guinea. People are buying them on the streets of New York, too. What's more, the U.S. government is making the problem worse by not adequately screening people who come into the country.
What FBI Director Christopher Wray has disclosed, along with former Border Patrol chiefs who say basically we have gaps in our intel. What we have for the vetting processes from these individuals coming from all these countries, 170 nations have been represented at our southern border. We don't have access to all those databases.
Imagine a situation where someone arrives in the United States without any identification, or worse, they discard what they have. In such cases, they are processed at the border based solely on the information they provide to the authorities. This poses a significant challenge because the Border Patrol officers essentially have to trust that individuals are being truthful about their identity, nationality, and criminal history, if any. While most people may have honest intentions, there is a small minority who may exploit this system. Border Patrol officers have limited options since they must rely on the information given to them at the moment, with the hope of updating it later if necessary.
Someone comes in, whoever they say that they are, if they don't flag in the system when biometrics are run, that's their retina scans or face scans and their fingerprints. If they don't flag in the system or aren't on FBI's watch list or on Interpol, Elizabeth, they are who they say they are.
Unfortunately, there have been instances of serious crimes committed by individuals who took advantage of this situation. Let's rewind back to the case of Jose Antonio Ibarra, the suspect in a Georgia case. Turns out, the ID he provided had an extra number, making it invalid. This made headlines when he took the life of 22-year-old Riley, a student in Georgia, operating under a false identity. Even Venezuela's government couldn't find him in their system. The ID's details resembled a woman with ties to a violent gang.
Ibarra's brother, 29-year-old Diego Ibarra, was also arrested Friday for having a fake green card.
This raises a question. How do scammers in New York bypass such issues? For those with malicious intent, fraudulent identities offer protection. This makes it easier for criminals to keep committing crimes and makes it harder for the police to stop them. This cycle can trap people who are desperate for a better life, as they may be tricked by criminals who promise to give them a new identity. Even basic tasks like arriving at Grand Central Station involve exploitation by cartels and bus companies. Without legitimate employment, individuals risk being ensnared in criminal activities. Having an ID that looks official is crucial because businesses won't question its legitimacy. Fake IDs are a felony in New York, punishable by up to 7 years.
Criminal possession of a forged instrument in the second degree. That is a Class D felony.
Despite this, critics argue that the city's lenient stance on crime tempts people into illegal activities. Even if they get caught, they easily get released in a couple of days or months. These fake IDs allow access to a normal life, including opening bank accounts and using stolen social security numbers.
Patrick, ¿cuánto pasan los IDs? El social con el ID es 80. ¿Cuánto? 80. 80 por los dos?
You've just watched a glimpse into the world of individuals involved in selling counterfeit IDs. Recently, the Post spotted around 10 of them openly conducting business along Roosevelt Avenue in Queens, selling fake documents for prices ranging from $80 to $250. These forged IDs, including social security numbers, can be used to open bank accounts and potentially obtain legitimate driver's licenses. Many migrants purchase these forgeries to secure jobs where employers aren't too strict about checking documentation. However, there are darker possibilities. With such false identification, someone could carry out dangerous activities, like loading a truck with explosives and causing major disasters, as warned by Bruce Foucault, a former Homeland Security investigations agent. According to Foucault, obtaining a second life within the U.S. for nefarious purposes is relatively easy with these fake IDs. He even expressed concern, suggesting that another 9/11 might be imminent. Along Roosevelt Avenue, from 82nd to 103rd Streets, the Post witnessed several scenes. Hooded individuals whispering offers of social documents, illegal transactions behind glass doors, and sellers negotiating prices for fake green cards and social security cards.
It's a social,
the green card.
Gotcha.
¿Tienes cómo se ve?
Yeah. Okay. What you looking for? Yeah, green.
One seller even took a reporter into a hidden stairwell, negotiating prices down to $80 for fake documents. Although the Post declined to make a purchase, the presence of these illicit activities is evident, even captured on video under the elevated train tracks.
I can take a pic. Look, I need your name.
Yeah.
Your whole name.
Yeah. Do I need to bring a picture?
I can take a picture.
Gotcha.
You see, Roosevelt Avenue is a hub for vendors linked to two notorious gangs, the 18th Street Gang and the menacing MS-13, according to a top police source. These gangs, originating from Los Angeles, are fierce rivals notorious for their violence and drug trade, as well as peddling counterfeit identification cards. Sources reveal that it is a thriving business over there. Moreover, the area has garnered notoriety for human trafficking, exemplified by the notorious Market of Sweethearts, recently exposed by the Post, as depicted in viral YouTube videos. Local residents and workers are incensed by the presence of these fake ID mills in their neighborhood. Z. Omar, a 24-year-old clerk at Candy Grocery Food Corp on Roosevelt Avenue, expressed concern that if they're getting away with fake social security numbers, who knows what's next? Weapons? Passports? It seems like there are no boundaries anymore. The surge in migrants, totaling nearly 180,000 since spring 2022, has fueled a heightened demand for fake IDs, drawing people from other boroughs seeking these documents. The exact number of counterfeit cards in circulation and their black market value remains unknown. Although estimates suggest tens of thousands of fake green cards and Social Security cards may be in use in New York City.